Good evening, good morning, everyone. Thanks for taking time out and joining this session. We have been part of a lot of migrations that have happened in the SAP world, and we could see the concerns and the anxiety that typically takes over when we start off such a project. And most often the questions are, I don't know how long it is going to take for us to remediate all the custom objects. I don't even know what custom objects are we using today. What does it take for us to test? So those are the questions that are typically part of the discussion. So what we thought was, why don't we just start with something which actually gives a comprehensive overview of the custom code footprint that the landscape has. And then, talk about how often have you been using it. So maybe, there are codes that are lying out there which you have not even used for last 1 year. So is there an opportunity to deprecate that? How do you go about deprecating that, identifying all the dependencies, making sure that what is supposed to work should work? And then, whatever is left, or how do you take over that to S/4HANA? So what are the remediations that we can do? Uh, and once we have remediated, what are the opportunities for us to take it to clean core? That's the most important question. You must have done custom developments addressing the business processes gaps that were not available as part of the earlier versions. But given that, SAP has moved a long way, there are new functions and features that you want to adopt instead of the custom modifications or enhancements that you've done in the system. So what are those opportunities for you? And if there are indeed customizations that you have to live with in your HANA world, are there opportunities to take it to the clean core? Taking it to the principles of clean core, move it to BTP, maybe develop a Fiori app, maybe develop a wrap. So all those opportunities, we typically look at the custom object, see what the opportunities are, give you guidance and detailed understanding of what the opportunities are and what are the ways and means to reduce your custom footprint. And then we also help them automate and execute this entire thing. Okay. So these are some of the key functions and features this tool offers. Okay. Uh, to get into the detail, so first thing is we get an entire footprint of your custom repository. So we'll bring to you what custom objects are there in the system. Okay. Across classes, programs, function modules, reports, modification, enhancements, whatever is there. We'll bring it out to you and along with the usage analytics. Okay. We, of course, bucket it up in with number of days, giving you some insights, how often you have been using it. And also present to you what are the deprecation opportunities. Once you identify those objects, discuss it along with the business that they are no longer needed. There are stale versions, things that have been promoted, to quality environment, but never been promoted to production, things that we have moved to production but never used. All of those we help you deprecate by identifying the dependencies. So, example, if you're using objects which are being used in live programs, we remove the dependency and help you deprecate that. Okay, so that's one of the things that we do. The second thing is, of course, we run an ATC check on the remaining objects and classify the objects in terms of, what are the priority remediations that are there, how long does it take for you to remediate the entire object, you know. So that kind of information is provided to you, okay? And then that that detail also helps you in getting an understanding how long is it going to take for you to remediate all the objects. And is it possible for us to remediate the entire set through an automation engine that we have? Of course, there will be cases where we will not be able to remediate everything. So you will get insights into what objects the tool is not able to remediate on its own. So that you can start exploring what other ways and means are there, and we can obviously help you in identifying one of the other ways to do that. Okay. As part of that analysis, what we also do is, we look at your custom objects. We help you deconstruct the code into a functional specification. There are times when you create custom objects, okay, and 2 years down the line, you don't even know what is that supposed to do unless you ask an developer to go and read that code and tell you, what it exactly does. So the documentation is not there for you to understand. So we help you deconstruct that code and create a functional specification for you to get an understanding of what exactly it is supposed to do. And uh, at the same time, we also tell you, that there are opportunities on this particular business requirement either to be fulfilled by a standard process, or we can help you migrate this to BTP, or we can build a Fury application around it, or we can build a wrap. Okay. And then we take you through this entire process of SDLC, where we create a design document for the team to take to review if it is indeed in compliance with the clean core. We look at the codification elements. We look at all the objects and the tools that is going to be used in this particular enhancement, just to make sure that it's part of your landscape and the version. Okay, and we take it all the way to generate the code, deploy the code. We're now in the process of integrating the MCP that has been released last month by SAP to facilitate the testing of these custom deployments that are happening, okay, through the tool. So that's going to be available to you in about 4 to 6 weeks, depending upon the maturity that we see. And then, of course, we do the automatic remediation wherever it is possible. We also help you maintain the landscape, the multiple landscapes during your conversion projects, which is typically a manual activity that we have seen so far. When you have to promote BAU changes across your business as usual landscape, as well as to the project landscape. So the dual landscape maintenance is also a feature which is part of the tool. And then, over years, we also do a lot of, hard coding based on company codes or organizational entities within the program. We help you remediate that as well. So we'll scan your entire custom code base and tell you these are the places where you viewed hard code elements. If there is an opportunity to get rid of that, we'll help you do that as well. We'll remove all those hard codings. If there is a change in the enterprise structure, we'll also help you remove those hard codings to the new organization or enterprise structure. So these are some of the functions and features that the tool offers. Okay. Now what I would like to do is get into the tool. We'll pick up two scenarios for the demonstration. One is, we'll run an ATC check on an SAP system, which is integrated with the tool. We'll take a small variant. We'll bring that ATC check into the platform or the tool that we have and give you some insights into what exactly, these ATC checks are, how long is it going to take, will the tool remediate everything, all the checks that are there, or will it not be able to do that? What are those that will not be addressed? And then we'll schedule a job to automatically remediate these P1 and P2 errors, and also gives you complete detail in terms of what has been remediated, how it has been remediated, what are the coding places where it has changed, and it also generates a complete documentation along the process. So that's scenario number one. Scenario number two is we'll just start with a business requirement, maybe a couple of lines which talks about what exactly you're trying to do. We'll pick up one scenario and then walk you through the entire SDLC process, where we generate a detailed functional specification, taking into consideration if there are certain custom objects which can be leveraged within your system. So as part of the tool repository, we build a local and a global context. The global context is all about, the SAP release information, the feature and functionality information, the object information that is available in a particular release. As part of the local context, what we also do is we try and get some details from your system if we are able to connect it to the tool. So, a list of all custom objects that have been built, for what purpose they have been built. So if there is a reusability that we find in building these custom objects, we will definitely quote those objects and see if it can be used in these developments. At every point in time, there is a review process that is incorporated. Upon your review and approval, this moves forward. We go through this entire specifications, design, and code generation and deployment. We also help you in detailing the test scenarios and the test cases. As I said, with the ABAP MCP integration, we should be able to take it all the way to the testing as well and give you the testing results. With that, I would request Rahul if he can bring up his screen and start with the demo.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you all. Good morning, good evening, all. So let me start with the demo. This is how this our dashboard looks like. So basically, SCMT, the Smart Code Migration Tool, is a part of our overall development approach, the clean code development approach. That's why we build this particular solution. Okay. Now, as Francis said, we have two scenarios identified for today's demo. One is the ATC remediation, and second is the SDLC, the development. So let's first focus on the our ATC scenario. So for that, let me go to the SAP system. Let me create a fresh ATC scenario for you. So that's how typically we did for each and every customer. Okay, we'll schedule a ATC run, it generate the ATC result for you, and then we'll start the remediation. So similar way, we'll go and do the same thing for today's demo as well. Okay, I'll pick any of the ATC run ID and again reschedule it and generate the result. Okay, let me save it. Let me schedule this ATC. Once we schedule this ATC, we can go and monitor it, is it completed or not, and then we can see the result. So if you see here, let me see the faces. So still is running on this particular step. Now it's completed. If you see the running is completed, let me go and see the result. Now we find it that there are some P1 and P3s are there. Okay. So this is typically what the ATC results looks like. So that's where now the remediation part is started. The traditional way is something we check each and every line item, and then we'll manually go and resolve it in the code, right? That's the lengthy process. So with this particular tool, now what I'm going to do it, I will feed this particular ATC result in the dashboard, and we will see the insights, and then we'll schedule a job from the dashboard itself, which automatically start the remediation activity, and you can monitor it from here. Okay. So it's very straightforward. Once you are in the dashboard, click on the migration tile. So the system what right now you're using the S2A system. This is what we are scheduled this ATC right now. Okay. To check it, you just need to give the ATC title, what you schedule it right now. So if I go back and let me see what the ATC I given the name. So ATC S2A Thursday something I given it today. So let me fetch the same thing. I just typed a few characters here, so automatically fetch it. What are the list are there? Okay. So this is what the right now we are scheduling. This is the time frame you are there, right? So you can just select any of whatever you want to select it, the appropriate version. Okay. And then these are some filter criteria we are added here. So if customer can want to schedule a job for some of the filter specific objects, they can filter it out here. Okay. And with that, we have given one more option called the preview script, where you can see it, how many findings are there, what is the exactly ETA to resolve all this issue by the job or the by my A agent, right? So we see here right now 6 ATC findings are there for this particular ATC result, right? And out of six there's four P1s are there and the two P3s are there, correct? And to resolve this particular this all this findings, it took somewhere around approximate 5 minutes. Okay, these are the approximate ETA to resolve it by this tool. Okay, so once you're okay with all these things, you just need to click on the start. So basically, this dashboard will be visible to you once you start the job. So on the header of the section, we see some parameters. Right now, how this job is running in the simulation mode, or the simulation is off, which model right now we are using it, what are the ATC nodes we approved it by default fitted in the system. There are some metrics are there, the insights, how many tokens is going to be consumed by this particular job, what is the duration, what is the total cost for this one, and these are the numbers. Now at the below, you are able to see the two tabs. One is the finding, and the second is the event. So this process is work in the three phases. One is it's the did the discovery. Discovery is nothing but it will fetch all those findings what we found in the ATC result here. Okay, whatever the findings. Then second, it classified it. classification does based on the what are the findings we found it in the discovery phase. So there are three findings we found it, and then we'll list down here how many we are going to resolve it by the AI or how many we cannot resolve it, because completely depend on the context what fitted in the solution right now, right? And once the classification is done, then we'll go to the fixing part, right? And there's a chances that maybe it's the classified as a fix, it able to fix the solution, but some when it's trying to fix it, the solution, it's not able to fix it, it will skip it, because there is so many uh, uh, times that the code is very complex and not able to the AI is not able to understand that what the exactly issue. So in that condition, it not go and do the hallucination, it will skip the object. So in that case, you see this, some manual intervention is required and some manual developer need the input is required in that condition, right? So that's how it's work. And then once the fixing is started, you can see the progress here in the progress bar, how many fixing is done, how many is remaining. Or maybe you can go to the finding tab and you can see it here, how many is fixed it, how many still is classified and still in the fixing in the process, right? So once the fixing is done, completed, you simply need to go and check from here the result itself. You just need to click it here, any of the P1. You can see it here. The code will be visible here. The code diff is available on this particular window. So if you want to see the original code, you can see the original code, what the exactly issue, and where the changes are there, the property change, it will highlight it here. So if you see here, this is the where the code is written, right? And there is an issue with the material length, I think. As the ECC, the material length is used the 18 character. Now in S4, the material length changed with the 40 character. So conversion exit is required. So that's how it is. It added the conversion exit here. Similarly, if you see here, these are the P1 with the simplification object list. So let me check this. So if I check this particular thing, okay, so this is the one of the function model where the BDC is written, the customer create BDC. So if you know in the ECC, traditionally when we create any customer, we'll use the XD01 and those objects, but in Asport, it's completely changed. Now it's the business partner concepts are there. So we need to completely change the BDC concept to the API, released API by the SAP, right? So if I see the properly the changes has been done. So if it sees, it's comment out all the BDC code, what is written in this particular function model, and then it's created the complete mapping with the help of the released APIs by the SAP, right? With that, it's also checking this released API is available in the cloudification library or not. Now, those only APIs will be used here as a part of your remediation activity. Okay. So that's how you will go and see it here. Now, once it is completed, you can also see the analysis of this particular job. So where you can find out that typically how many P1s are there, it's closed by this particular job, and what is still is it is remaining in open phase, right? How many P1, P2, P3s are there? You can see in the chart view as well. Whereas highlight the top failures in case it's not able to resolve it. What are the major P1s is picked it in particular this particular job and resolve it. And where it says there some is the riskiest P1, P2, I resolved it. You need some manual intervention is required. I fixed it, even though, but something manual, you just check it, cross-verified it. So those objects is also listed down here, so that you can ask your developer or maybe your senior member that the job is completed, but manually you can check it, cross-verify with the systems. That's how this particular solution will work, the ATC remediation. Now, once the ATC remediation part is completed, the second thing is started. Our system is ready and ready for the use. But how we can make sure that the going forward, whoever using it or the whoever developer is using it to develop the object, it should be developed in the clean core manner only. That's why SAP's route right now is amplify or asking to the customer that whatever the development going forward you're going to do it, go in the clean core manner. The clean core principle what SAP is it's published right now, right? Now, so to overcome that particular activity, we added these other activities as well. So today is for the second scenario, the second demo, as we Faransa told you, we'll go and see that one of the function specification I generated for the purchase order report, right? So this specification also I generated from the tool itself. So what I will go and do it, I will go and upload this functional specification and ask for the development. Okay. Now, for that, you just need to simply click here on this particular type, the requirement to realization tile. I will use some title here so that in future I can identify what development activity I'm doing it. Like I said, it development for the PO report or something. 001. What agent right now is going to use the master agent who is identify the actual what the development we need to do and distribute to the sub agents. Okay, and which system we are going to perform this activity. Again, the same system right now what we use for ATC, right? So simply we'll go and attach this function specification. I will ask that.
Yeah, well, I think it makes sense to clarify that, even the functional specification can be generated by the tool itself. So there is a whole
Yeah, we can do
documentation
that.
agent, which can actually take a couple of lines of business requirement, scan your environment, and generate the entire contextualized function business requirement for you.
Sure,
And
sure.
that is what that can go through the entire review process as part of your SDLC, and then bring it out as to the DevOps team here for orchestrating this entire development.
No problem. Sure, we can do that. So if you see here, I just come back to the dashboard and use the TS and FS generation tile right now. Okay. So basically, when you click on this particular tile, this is the guided window is available for you for the users where they can select what kind of a document we want to generate it. Either you can generate the function specification, technical specification, design, test plan, BRD. You can generate it, right? For which kind of a client or the project right now you're generating, you can maintain it so that in future you can track it for this particular project, what are the documents we have generated, right? So you can give some for the PO process. I generated this thing. And if you see there's a one more flag is there, it automatically enforces the clean core. So when you generate the documentation, whatever the object is listed down here in the function specification or the technical specification, it it enforces that it's always use the clean core or released APIs by the SAP. Okay. So you just add it here. These are the sections right now, which going to be part of your function specification generation. And then you can give the title that there's the PO report or the purchase order report I am going to generate in. For which model we are generating it, something the model we are generating, we how the business problem, we can give the detailed business problem is here, but I already list down here. So we can say that I want to create a one simple report like the purchase open item purchase order reports, right? Traditionally, for the users, they manually go and see the open purchase order in ME 21 and 22 and like that. These are no standard reports are there. So the customer, most of the customer want to kind of a custom report where can they just execute and list down what are the right now the purchase order there which are open right now, open to deliver, right? So you just give the some business objective, the problem and statement here. Okay. And you can even though you can give your in scope, out scope, all those things. For this I see that the only use those processor which are content is more than 0. Okay. If you can give the out of scope as well activity, some key tables if you want to, you can give it. It's not a mandatory thing, but you can add it here. The stakeholders who is responsible for this particular development, you can add it here. The additional role you can add it here. Okay. And simply you need to click on the button. So once you click on the generate button, this the detail page will be visible to you, where you can see on your left hand side the task configuration, what the agent is right now doing it. You can see it here on my right hand side. You can see the output and the processing steps. It sees the processing, the output is in the process, right? It's generating the document. It is doing some thinking and the calculation and the document generation, right? If you want to stop in between in something, you can click on the hit the stop button as well. But let's wait until unless it is generate document. Okay. In the meantime, you can also see on the bottom there is a metric section we have added where also you can identify the duration to generate this particular document, how much tokens is consumed, and what is the cost. Okay, is involved to generate this particular document. So it's free to complete this activity, and then later on we'll go and upload the same function specification to the tool itself and ask them to generate a code or do the development for us. Okay. So if you see here, my left hand side, it says the function specification generated, it's completed. On my right hand side, I can see the function specification. Now you can read out the complete function specification, what is written by the agent. So it's not something directly agent is, my agent is returning. We have created so many contexts, the repositories and the data is fed in the system, right? So based on all this, it's search it and detail out this particular function specification. If you, when you're reviewing it and you find some discrepancy or some issues are there, again you can ask them that there's some issues are there, or maybe something is not correct, can you just change it? It will go and change it. Okay. And once you're okay with the documentation, you can go simply go and upload it. Once you upload it, it will create the context, the local context and the global context in the system itself, so that in future if some user again go and try to generate a document, the similar kind of a document, it can refer this document and see that this document or the report is already in your system, is there available, you can use it. And maybe if you want, you can modify it accordingly. With that, we're also tracking the versions, the version history. If someone has changed something here, so all the versions are available, so you can backtrack it. So for initial version to the current version, what the exactly changes are done, right? So, and then later on you can download and then forward to the stakeholders or the team, whoever want it. Okay, the simple download buttons is there, right? That's how I just downloaded the function specification, right? Once this specification is ready, you simply go to the requirement to realization and just upload here and ask them to start the development activity. Let me go and I can do the same activity. Development PO. Give some meaningful name so that in future you can refer it at what I did it for particular this task, right? And the system, as I told you, let me attach the same function specification again. Okay, let me attach it. And then just a moment, it's attaching. Let me refresh. I think I've just generated. Let me refresh it. Let me go. Save it. Simply, I attach the function specification and ask them to attach the function specification there. Just read it and start the development, and just hit the pipeline to submit this activity to the agent, right? So once you submit this particular activity, you see here it's a guided build are there. It's not specifically go and do the development in the system directly. So there is a complete pipeline we have created. It first go and understand the requirement, and based on it will create a design document for you. Okay, and then you can review it that its understanding is correct by the agent or not. And if something is differ, you can ask them to correct it. So that's the human are in the loop chain where while the development is going on, right? Once you approve it, then on it will go and create a technical design document for you. Again, you can ask your developer, the technical person can go and review it thoroughly. And once you are okay with that particular document, then you can upload it. Once you upload it, you start the coding in the system. So it's not simply directly go and do the development on the fly. It create all the backtrack the documentation so that you are in the loop. You validated what is going to be happen in the system, right? So now if you see here, the design document is completed. You can review. Maybe you can click on this document and this hyperlink and the document will open on this particular pop-up. You can see it, what the exactly requirement is there, the business context and the purpose, this, how the solution is designed it here. If you see here, it sees the clean core approach, the RAP model only, right? The RAP RESTful model, with what the SAP is recommended in the on-stack development activity, right? It use the custom CDS views, consumption views, service definition, and your Fury application, what are in the scope, out of the scope, and how its particular process will be done, right? Right. So complete activity backtrack track here, right? And even though whatever the objects we list down in the standard objects, it goes into the system and verified it's available or not. If it's not available, just directly says this, I'm not able to verify it's not available in the system. So you have chance that you can go and modify this particular document. Okay, so that it will not, while doing the coding, it will not hallucinate at all. Okay, so that's how it's there. With that, if there is some open questions are there, there's a button is also visible for you where you can answer that particular open questions here, and it will regenerate the design, right? Now, if you want to change the complete document, you can ask to change it. It will go and regenerate. If you want to give the feedback, it will give the feedback. If you want to add it something here in the document, you can add it here on this document itself. So it's kind of the directory for you to backtrack it, right? I say is simply for the purpose, I will go and upload it here. Okay. So once you approved it, it says it's approved, activated. Now the second phase is started at the technical phase. It's the current phase is going on the technical design phase, right? Again, same thing. While generating the technical phase, it used our function specification and design document what we generated right now, and the context what we did in this particular tool, right? So based on all this criteria to generate the technical specification. So technical specification is more or less kind of where the pseudocode are there. It also verified that the objects and their the fields, actually the fields what needed for this particular development, it's available in the system or not. If it's not there, it will highlight in the document so that the developer or maybe your technical person can review and just modify it accordingly. So that while generating a code, it will not go to the forth and back cycles, multiple cycles, right? So let's again wait for the few more minutes, a few more seconds. Once it's generated, we'll review it and then again we'll approve it and then we'll start the deployment activity. Okay. In the meantime, you can see here the matrix while generating the your design document. It took 26K tokens, input and output. This is the cost is involved at that time. Now, once the technical is generated, it override this one. It add the additional tokens what needed for the technical generation and the cost. You see, it's change it. Now, the technical documentation is also generated. You can simply click it here. So now I can open it. How many objects is going to be generated? The object inventory list is here. These are the CDs is going to be created in the system, right? These are the roles will be there. Is the detailed design is there. What the implementation logic is there. The pseudocode you can see here for this particular CDS view. How the pseudocode will be written here. The code is there in the below window, right? Second object will be is down here. How the pseudocode will be looks like and the code. So like this, it will go and add all the objects what we want to develop as a part of this development in the system, right? What are the key fields, details, complete details are there, right? If something is there, open questions or thinking, you can ask them, or maybe you can modify in the document itself. Click on the edit button and modify it here, and you can save it. So now once you are okay with that, you just need to click on the simply the approve button. Now, once you click on this approve button, if you see here, it's completely analyzing your technical documentation, right? The documentation is there and then it's decomposed into the task. What agents I need to load it for to do the development for this particular activity, right? And then once that particular task is it's confirmed, or then it will list down here what are the agents is going to be loaded for this particular development and list down all the objects here. And you can see the objects one by one here. It's created, not created, what the exactly issue. If it's not created, what's the exactly errors and all, right? In the meantime, you can also download any of the document. You can go backtrack it, the design or technical, or maybe in future you can come again back to this particular task and see it, right? What we did it. So if you see here, it deconstructed it, what the agent I needed. I need a ABAP agent for the development. I need a Fury agent for development. How it will be go with the ABAP agent, the ABAP development will be go and do it. What are the standard CDAs is going to be involved for this particular things, and right, list down here all those activities and do the development for you. So PVM, it sometimes it's a small kind of a development, took somewhere around 5 to 10 minutes, where for the mid and the complex level, it took somewhere around 15 to 20 minutes. It's depend how the complex the development is there, right? So it will go and give it the complete result on your both side, your left hand side and right hand side. Okay. So in the meantime, it's completing. Let we need to wait it for this one. Okay. You can completely monitor the progress as well. What is happening in here? What is not working or something. So if you see here, the objects list is also added here. What are the objects is going to be generated as a part of this particular development task. Okay. If it's generated, not generated, why it's not generated, what the exactly issues are there, so that you can ask your developer to go and backtrack it to check it. Okay. Go and check what is happening. It's still running this one. As I told you, it took some time for the small development. It took somewhere around 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, because it's not just straightforward or the one object is there. If you see the object inventory on this particular technical document, so it need to create the your basic CDS view, your consumption CDS view, your service definition, your service bindings, your PFCC role, your BSP applications. So all those things need to be created as a sequence process that you cannot directly go and create the consumption view until unless the your basic CDS view is not created, because all are interdependent right now. So it's going to be goes to be in the sequential manner only. We cannot go and do the parallel jobs here. Okay, so that's why it took some time. But still, if you're comparing to the manual activity where you need to develop this report, it took somewhere around 1 or 2 days of effort of the developer. Or with the help of this, you can maybe do it within a half day or maybe within a few minutes, right?
Rahul, as we wait, there's a question that is coming from Anna. So, compared to traditional manual code analysis, what are the biggest time and cost saving customers typically experience with smart code migration?
We can give you some statistics on this. We recently did a large enterprise conversion from ECC to S4, which had around 30,000 custom objects. The whole exercise, because we wanted to run this in parallel, took us a day from end to end. Remediating the entire P1, P2, P3, and then there were exercises where we had to actually uh, clean core few of their custom developments, which are significant. So the whole end-to-end exercise took a day. And prior to that, there was an analysis phase specifically on getting them the conversion timelines, their entire insights into their custom repository, which was about a week, and also identifying, the clean core opportunities.
So in the meantime, it's generating all this document. We can start and go and check the documents as well. So we see here this the basic CDS we use there. So let me go and check if it's created or not. Let's complete it. Still running it. Some changes are is still going on. So we can wait it here, right? There's one more thing I can highlight it here, even though you can backtrack it, what is happening it, you can just expand it, what the exactly is thing right now it's going on this particular CDS or this particular object in the system, right? So if you see here, it's feeding it and activating it, the complete code is there, all the things. Now, if you see here, it's completed, it took somewhere around the 10 minutes of a time with this particular things, right? And these objects are generated, you can go and validate it in the system, right? This is the BSP is created, your CDS views, and your service binding and definition. So let me go and see it in the system. Let me open first the CDS view. We can go and validate it, what it's created. Let me open this. So if you see here, this is the definition of this. Now it's created as the base table. The base CDS is used here. What are the associations are there? The joins. What are the fields we will list down here? How the quantity will be calculated? All those things will be listed down here. So all the object you can validate here. Now you can simply go and see the BSP application. For the end application is here, and then we can run the application from here. Okay. Let me open the BSP task. So it says the UIPO item. Sorry, let me copy this. That UIPO open item. Now you see here, this is the BSP and our application. and what the service is going to be used. We can see the service as well. Let me open this BSP application, and then we need to run this application. Okay. Okay. Let me see and open in the SAP GUI directly. See here, this is what the application used it. PO items. This one. This is the binding. I can click it here. Let me preview it. Let me see it. Okay, just a second. Let me bind in the domain here. Now, if you see here, this how we wanted we list down the our requirement. Okay, we want the PO list here. The PO numbers are here. The vendors, the quantities are there. Maybe you can filter out the things, right? So that's what we will list down here. So that's how it will work it. I'm not sure for all the cases, the 100%, but it's still it will increase your development activity, the efforts what you are spending in right now. Correct. So that's how it's work completely, this particular solution. So we have created other services as well, like similarly, the if we want to create few of the objects like wrap or some specific class or program, you can do it. Maybe this traditional your Fury application, you want to convert your Fury to the LV to the Fury application, you can do that. And maybe you can do the side-by-side development as well. As SAP is recommended, do the side-by-side extensions like with the help of CAPM and all. So you can do that activity as well from here. Simply you need to go and give your instructions and upload it. The agent behind it, it's the BTP agent, which go and responsible create your BTP object and run it.
As next step, we are going to integrate this development process with ABAP MCP that has been released so that we can incorporate the testing as well as part of the tool. So this is going to be the end-to-end process, right from the business requirement all the way to generating your, tester scripts, executing them, and giving you the final result. So that is what we are aspiring for. Well, we are well through the journey. We have seen significant gains for the customer in terms of the overall timeline, overall reducing their custom footprint, deprecating the code that they're not using anymore, opportunities for clean core, moving reports, traditional ALV reports to Fury applications, developing REP applications from custom processes that they have built or enhancements that they've done. So all of that is something that this tool offers. We can get engaged as part of your assessment process itself to help you identify and get a detailed view of your custom code base and get you insights into what can be remediated, what cannot be, what are the opportunities, and so on. With that, any more questions, please feel free to ask. We are more than happy to answer that.
We have one more question that has come in. How does smart code migration integrate with SAP's native tools like ATC during the migration process?
Yeah, so there's an API-based integration that we have. This tool can sit on your B2B platform as well, or we can host us and get an integration done with your ABAP environment. The integration is typically around, getting the ATC results, getting your entire custom code, reading your code object, code with objects, getting it remediated, pushing it back into your SAP system, executing that, making sure that it is syntax error free, and generating the code, pushing it to your development class, and making sure that it is activated and executed. So all those integrations are available in both ways, either the tool sitting on your BTP environment or the tool sitting on our environment and integrated with your ABAP system.
And just to clarify one more thing here, we are doing the connectivity between your ABAP system to the BTP is the traditional what SAP is recommended, the cloud connector only, and we are only using the released APIs what SAP is given.
Thank you, Rahul. Thank you, Farhan, for your time. And thank you, everyone, for attending this session.